Hello everyone. I'm making this video because of an experience that I've had when I traveled to South Africa and visited a national treasure called Kruger National Park. The things that I saw there while I was there were truly amazing and extraordinary and very different than anything that I've ever seen before. The only time I've ever experienced exotic animals is when I went to my local zoo. And when I saw the animals there, they really weren't alive. They were just existing. They were being fed. When people fed them, they looked depressed. Some of them were in cages by themselves. They were alone. They were sad. And they were just basically withering away. Just not really what you call life, being in a cage. So basically, that's the only time I experienced exotic animals. When I went to Kruger National Park, which is a wildlife game reserve, you see animals in the animal kingdom. You see an ecosystem. You see animals trying to exist, trying to survive. One particular situation, a particular thing that I witnessed, which was really amazing, was something that I saw when I was at the Oliphant River in Kruger National Park, one national park. I saw crocodiles and hippos. These are deadly enemies. A crocodile is a deadly carnivore, one of the most deadliest carnivores in Africa. And then I saw hippos, which is mostly a herbivore. It does eat meat, but its diet is mostly herbivore. These two animals, of course, are deadly enemies and will kill one another. But yet, they know when they have to. There's this certain unlikely truce that they have. And what I observed, which was amazing to me, is that hippos were just basically sunbathing, laying in the sun, their eyes totally closed, relaxing. And then only about 10 feet away, I saw a huge Nile crocodile, which must have weighed maybe 1,000 pounds, right next to the hippo, also sunbathing, because they have to do the same thing. They're cold-blooded, and they have to bathe in the sun to keep their temperature up. So they know what they have to do to survive. And this is a truce. Two animals that are enemies. I mean, would humans do that? Keep their eyes close to each other? It's pretty amazing how they did this, and they continue to do this despite their conflicts. There's basically a time for everything, and that's really what it's about. Animals hunt because they do it for food. They don't do it for no reason at all. Now you think humans can learn from that. All we have is senseless wars. We kill many times for no reason at all. Our species does. And we could just learn a lot from animals, the way they go about things. Now what I saw there was amazing. Now this happened a year ago. I was there last summer. And well, shortly after, I came across a video on YouTube. It was also on television. It's very popular, and most of you have heard of it. It's called Battle at Kruger. I said, Kruger, that sounds familiar. I was just there. And then I watched this video, and I was just blown away. It was the most extraordinary thing I've ever seen on the internet or television. What I saw here were 3 wild animals locked in a struggle for survival. That was my first feeling about the entire scene, about the entire video. And it was interesting because after I watched it, if you look at it from not knowing much about animals or having the experience to go to Africa, you would say, oh, those buffaloes really own those lions. That poor calf. But you know something? If you really look at it deeper, there's something much more significant to it. There's something with much more meaning. And the meaning is, and the significance is that these animals are just doing what they have to do to survive. Lions must kill to eat. If you're saying, oh, that poor calf, you're going to say, oh, that poor lion cub that's going to die because it doesn't have enough milk from its mother, and it didn't get enough food as a result of not being able to catch something to kill. So, sure, it had a good ending. The calf comes back to the herd, but what are the lions going to do? And same thing about the crocodiles. You know, their young are not going to be able to survive if they don't get food. And then you could just look at human beings. You could say, oh, are we any better than them? We kill calves all the time for food. We kill animals for food. And think about it. They're just doing it to survive. People kill because of borders, because of people kill other people for no reason at all. Animals don't do that. Animals are innocent. They kill food. You can make the argument lions fight against lions, elephants fight against elephants, and kill each other many times, but they're doing that for their species. If you look at it from a Darwinian perspective, if a lion fights a lion or an elephant fights an elephant, or they're fighting each other either for mates or territorial reasons, they were doing it for the species to survive. The stronger lion, the one that remains, the one that is the victor of that fight, will be able to pass its genes to the next generation, and those will be favorable genes, so that next offspring will be stronger to survive in the wild and to continue its species and then also have its offspring. And it makes sense whether you believe in some of Darwinian's theories or not. It does make sense that that's how things work out, and it's good for the species. So you learn two things from this video, Battle at Kruger. You learn about the struggle for survival, which these animals have to do because they're looking to survive. Their species is important, and they know, the buffaloes even know it. When they lose an animal, if an animal goes down, lions hunt buffaloes many times, it's about an ecosystem. And their numbers also have to be controlled to a certain extent. There's an equilibrium between carnivores and herbivores to be at a certain number. So that's really what you're seeing here. You're seeing a whole ecosystem, a survival of species to continue in this struggle in order for there to be an order, in order for the wild to continue and have an equilibrium of many different species. Now, as I've said, you have a struggle of 3 different species of animals fighting with each other, and there's a lot of things that you can learn from it. If you take it at face value, you're kind of rooting, like you're rooting a sports team to beat another sports team because you don't like that team. They're bad and the other one is good, or they're your team. Or you like buffaloes more than lions, or you don't like crocodiles, or whatever it is. But if you've taken the trip to Africa like I have, and I recommend that you do one day if you get the chance, or if you really listen to what I have to say, what I'm telling you here, from someone who experienced animals hunting each other, I've seen it when I was in Kruger, then you would understand what this whole thing is really about. You just have to look deeper into it, and it makes this particular video that much more extraordinary. So I hope you see things the way I see things in this particular video. I've learned a lot from it, and I hope that you learned a lot from it too. That's it from me. Thank you for tuning in.